What's going on, everybody? I am Rudy Hodgson, and welcome back to One on One, where we are talking to the latest signings of your Cincinnati Cyclones. And today, it is going to be Andrew Noel, the defenseman for your Cyclones. But around these parts, we know him as Andy. How are you, brother? How's the summer treating you?
I'm doing well, doing well. Yeah, it's good to hear your voice and be back on here. But summer's been going well. A lot of training, a lot of skating, and then doing a lot of work too. So it's been nice to be home back here in Massachusetts. But I definitely miss Cincinnati and being out there.
So tell me a little bit about last season. I mean, you played 7 games, you got your first taste of the pro game, and now you get to sign your first full season professional contract. Just what are the emotions like? What's your excitement level at?
Yeah, no, my excitement level is through the roof. Obviously, I was really excited to join the team in the second half there for a little bit. Get to know a lot of the guys and some of the management and the coaches and stuff. And then obviously going to this year, we have a lot of change going on, and to be brought back, I was really excited about, and felt very fortunate that they wanted to bring me, back on for this year. Obviously, there's a lot of work to be done, but Cincinnati is a place that I truly love, and I can't be more grateful for the opportunity that these coaches have given me to bring me back this year.
So let's talk about a little bit of that work that needs to be done just from last season, those 7 games, to kind of what your expectation level is at for this year. What do you want to improve upon? How do you kind of want to assert yourself as a professional hockey player?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just growing my identity. So I think, being making sure that I'm, playing the heavy 200-foot defenseman. Making sure I take care of my zone. Being honestly getting more mature physically, adding a couple pounds so I can, handle myself a little bit more. And then on top of that, trying to grow my game a little bit. On the offensive side, you always want to produce more. So being able to grow that side and help jump in a little bit more offensively, I've been trying to work on. But also not getting away from my game. Like, as you know, I take pride in myself of how hard I defend, and just how hard I play in general. So it's continuing to grow that.
Where did that edge in your game kind of come from? Do you think that kind of came from your college days at Ferris State, or did that just kind of progress naturally? That little spark that you provide on the blue line, where does that stem from?
Yeah, I've had that since the day I started skating. I think my brother has the same qualities as well, where it's, we play with an edge. And it's been since I was a mite. I always found it to be a lot of fun. I think, being able to play that way, it adds another aspect of the game, that I really enjoy. But it's honestly grown over time. I think, you take a little bit of a step back in college just because of the rules and everything, but being able to kind of be let loose again has been really fun. So
So you're 24, about to start your first full professional season. How do you feel like under Coach Wazlowski, you feel like you can elevate your game, and kind of what were those conversations like when he brought you back?
yeah, they were, pretty brief. I think obviously he has a ton going on, being a new coach in a new organization. But from our talks, like, he's a very intense coach. He loves, like, working with guys, and that's something that I love too. Like, I love being coached. I love learning the game from new perspectives. And also it's huge that he was a defenseman too. That's something that I'm really looking forward to and learning from him, and all the different aspects of the game that he likes to teach. Um, and other than that, like, I'm really just excited for a fresh point of view and everything, that goes along with the new coaching staff coming in.
I'm always so curious with the defensive game. Have you ever had a head coach that is a former defenseman? And if you have, just how does that translate to systems or maybe your role? Always curious when it comes to those changes, and maybe your perspective is a lot more expansive than mine.
Yeah, I had a coach in junior, that was a ex NHL defenseman, and having just that point of view, is so valuable. There's not enough times where you have a coach who played in the National League like that, and being able to pick up just little tricks from him, or being able to see the game through another defenseman. It's something that really helps elevate, especially a decor. I think being able to have that different perspective rather than maybe a guy who was a forward or maybe a guy who was a goalie. Being able to have that, I think, can only elevate a team.
So what about at Ferris State? You play 3 years there. You kind of solidify yourself and your role there on that team. What was the jump to professional hockey like? Was it that drastically different? I'm sure it was a lot heavier here at the ECHL level. But for you, what was the biggest adjustment there?
Yeah, I think it's just, the pace of the game is very different. I think in college hockey, right, you only play 36 games. So every single Friday, Saturday night, it's, these teams are gearing up for an all-out 60-minute war, and it's just constant in your face, in your face, in your face. And I think when I got to the pro, it's a lot more kind of controlled, and it's like you're playing chess out there. And I really enjoyed that transition. I think obviously your first couple games, you're very overwhelmed with everything that's going on and just the production of things. But then you start to settle in a little bit, and you start to kind of get a little more grasp on your game. And being able to do that, I think I was able to settle down a lot more, make some more plays, and really just kind of start to find my game. Obviously, I have a lot of work to do within that, but I think just moving forward, it's just about finding yourself and finding, how you can be the most successful defenseman in this league.
Yeah, that's a great answer. My last question for you is you only got to spend 7 games in Cincinnati last season, but that's a pretty good sample size to kind of get to know the city a little bit and all that. What's your excitement level to just be back in the Queen City, play in front of those fans? I mean, your first game was our cancer night at Heritage Bank Center, and you kind of got to see what the fans were like there. Just what's it like coming back?
Yeah, no, like I mentioned, like I love the city. Like this place is incredible. And obviously just being there for a couple months, I was able to take in a lot of stuff, but I also, I'm looking forward to get back and kind of take in some new stuff. But seriously, like the fans are incredible. The people in the city, you go anywhere and the people are just so kind and giving, and that's something that I'm really excited to be back for, to obviously meet more of the fans and meet more of the people in the city, and continue to just grow that connection, that community there. And then the other thing too is just the food. Like I love the food there. There's so many great spots, so many great little coffee shops, and you go over to OTR and all the stuff that they have to offer over there. Like it's an incredible city that honestly, like I had no idea about before I signed there and went there and got to experience it myself. But seriously, it's been like an incredible, and I can't even explain to you how grateful I am to be back, and how excited I am to get going and get my feet wet a little bit more.
Well, now I gotta ask you naturally, what's the best food spots? Give me the recommendations. I wasn't here that much
Oh,
longer than you. Come on.
yeah, so I'm not great with names, but there, I mean, there's a ton of great places there. There's a great little coffee shop, not in Cincinnati, but on the other side of the bridge, Elliott Coffee, that I love. And then some of the other food places. I mean, there's that market in OTR that's super cool, that has a ton of great meats and stuff,
Yeah,
and a
Finley
lot of
Market.
sandwiches. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then other than that, I'm also a sucker for Chipotle. So any Chipotle is right up my alley. But other than that, like you honestly can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
Awesome, man. Well, Andrew Noel back on the blue line for your Cincinnati Cyclones, and we hope to see you back at Heritage Bank Center October 18th when your Cyclones welcome the Wheeling Nailers first face-off. As always, you can get your tickets at cycloneshockey.com/tickets. We will see you then. Andrew, thank you for your time. We'll see you guys all in October, man. Can't wait.
Sounds good. Thank you, Rudy.